Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who are new, I'm Cynthia, in-depth spiritualist who works at the level of the soul. And this means I help you discover your authentic self so that you can truly connect with your higher conscious, and in doing so, connect with the divine God force over all that created you. And for those of you who find my videos helpful or could possibly help another individual, go ahead and press the like, subscribe, and share buttons. And for those of you who have come back to view, if you've watched some of my current past videos, you know that at this point, this channel is not one that is getting much recognition and basically zero support. And these messages will continue for as long as I'm given the messages that are important for me to deliver, but they will more than likely slow down after a period of time and then stop altogether. Now, I won't take the channel down because there are people that do need to have those links that I can refer to when people are inquiring me about information. But other than that, I have a very productive, busy life, and if people are not interested in the messages I am bringing forth, then there is no point for me to put the time and energy into YouTube much longer. So that being said, I'm going to warn you that what I'm going to say in this video is definitely going to trigger a lot of people who are not ready for the messages that have been coming through this morning. All right. False positivity and delusional spirituality. How do people fall into it and ride on a megalomania high in the belief that their life is wonderful, everything is going great, only to not get the spiritual results that they were promised by a spiritual leader, a guru, a YouTube influencer. It just doesn't come together. Many years ago, when I first started out on my spiritual path, I was amazed at the false teachers that were making thousands of dollars promoting themselves with a great deal of backing, community support, and friendships that were touting what they were doing. And as someone new to the field, I was encouraged to go to a lot of seminars. And I remember sitting in one from a woman who was the epitome of prosperity. She was in her 30s. She had arrived. She had a PhD. She had the husband on her arm. They looked like the perfect soulmate couple. And she professed to everyone that she was a master teacher. And I sat through an entire day of her workshops because I had been asked to show support to a friend of mine who was a high-level spiritual teacher who moved in a lot of circles. And I was so bored and physically drained from all of the negative energy. By the time it finished, I couldn't get out fast enough. And when we got in the car, she asked me what I thought about this teacher and her husband who was at her side that was supporting her. And I said, "You want my honest opinion? They're fakes. It's all for show. It's all for the money." And my friend grinned, and she shrugged her shoulders. And she said, "Well, if people are stupid enough to fall for it, then they will reap the benefits of what that kind of teaching delivers." And here is what I have found. In the age of technology, the age of total manipulation and illusion, by weaving an image over the internet of what isn't necessarily true, and most often is a fabrication, those who are lost in confusion and disconnected from themselves are looking for someone to escape. They're looking for a route of someone else to live through because their own life is so unfulfilled because they haven't a clue as to who they truly are. And it goes both ways. It can be someone who has psychological issues, who has never found their way in life, never developed a skill or an education, never been able to support themselves and provide the necessities of life on a comfortable level, or individuals who really took the route of education and the corporate world and spent many years in a very toxic, masculine environment, which if they were women, they developed toxic masculinity themselves, and their true divine feminine never came to the surface. Or if they are masculine, they just remained in that toxic behavior pattern of putting pressure on themselves and putting it on everyone else around them. So all of that energy just continually reflected back and forth. And then, when they got so sick and tired of all of it, would scroll through social media and find a spiritual guru. And the spiritual gurus that people are drawn to are the ones who can provide an image of true divine perfection. They either have the twin flame soulmate at their side, they're working together as this wonderful team, or they have this beautiful palatial mansion or state-of-the-art studio. Their videos are edited to perfection, and they have all the sound effects, all the visuals, and it just takes everyone away and captivates them into this plane of existence for a short period of time. But the issue is they can't do it on their own. Why is that? Why do they have to always stay tuned in to electronics, be it the computer or the phone, in order to get their divine wisdom, or so they think, and come to a point of peace and harmony within themselves? Well, this is because true spirituality, a true divine connection with God, when you truly find it, because you yourself are coming from a place of authenticity, will not need to be scripted or a stage set for a certain mood that involves smudging, candles, incense, music, crystals. Although I love stones myself, and I do use them, that isn't the core essence of true development on a spirituality. It is alignment, one-on-one alignment. And that is to attain your higher consciousness and connection with the God force. The true spiritual leader is not going to tell you to use ayahuasca, magic mushrooms, pot, tranquilizers, a glass of wine, or any other substance to relax you, because it all is done through the heart, through learning to breathe, to focus on that breath and know that you are a part of a much greater plan than is being projected here on the three-dimensional earth plane. It is not about financial trappings. It is not about going into debt at a 24 to 30% credit card interest rate to splash vacations, lavish meals, cruises, these big getaways, wardrobes, or palatial mansions. That is 3D. That is the 3D that everybody touts in the false spiritual community that they so desperately want to get rid of, yet they desperately want to become a part of it. And they continue on with it. And then when they latch on to somebody who is a spiritual teacher, maybe they take a course to get a certificate, and they are studying all these pearls of wisdom, then boom, it goes on Facebook or Instagram or web, wherever, that they have found their spiritual path. And they are in all this divine wisdom, and on the inside, they are tied up in knots, they're mean, they're spiteful, and they're vindictive. And I have been on this trek for over 40 years, and I'm going to tell you something. There isn't anything that I haven't seen or anything that would shock me. So, as you go forth in seeking higher knowledge, remember that it all goes back to the heart. It all goes back to how you feel on the inside. And if you are looking at someone or listening to someone, and you are admiring everything that they have on a material level, and this image that they are projecting, then you're going to fall into deep illusion. Many years ago, a woman came to me and told me that she had found her spiritual teacher. Everything was wonderful. I had nothing to offer her because I wasn't projecting the image of a successful, what she built and what everyone in the epitome of California billed as higher class, that eluded success. I wasn't working with the law of attraction in the way that she thought I should be. So I lovingly released her. I let her go. And from time to time, she would call me and tell me about all the things she was buying and the social circles she was moving in and her groups, and how they emulated prosperity by acting as if. And I said, well, tell me more about what it's like to act as if. And she said, I put whatever I need on the credit cards because I know the supply is going to meet the demand. And I'm going to be able to pay it off. She was self-employed. And she was very successful. But not successful enough to be going to Europe once a year and to the Hawaiian Islands 3 times a year, and to keep up a full-scale wardrobe and a new car every 2 years. And by the time she found her way back to me, her credit card debt was $5,000 a month. Now, this was back in the 80s, so it was a lot of money back then. And as a spiritualist, the only thing I could suggest to her was what I would have done if I would have been in that position is I would have gotten professional help. So I advised her to get debt counseling and to get everything paid off and live a frugal life. But then that's Cynthia. So that's not for everyone. But in closing, this woman was in a mess like so many others are in a mess. And at this point in time, I'm not seeing it changing. Most people are flocking to those that emulate this kind of behavior. It is as popular as it ever was. I live in California. The fires have not changed people. I'm not saying everyone in California, I'm certainly not that way, but those who have always lived in the ego and the materialism of the fact that you have to live a certain way and in a certain place, as long as you emulate all this, they don't care whether their neighbors are drug cartels or they are insurance fraudsters or doctors who commit malpractice to rake it in through the insurance companies, and they're all in cahoots together because they're in the positive energy and they're choosing not to see it. Well, ignorance is not bliss. And every day I see more being uncovered. Yet the more that is uncovered, the more fear people are going into that live their lives this way. Whether it is a lifestyle or a marriage that long ago failed, that people are staying in it strictly because they're tied in the finances and they're projecting a false image. Either way it goes. These repeat patterns that express the Bardo state of consciousness, which is repeating everything over and over again, are going to play out until you come back to your original source. And on that note, I wish you much love and many blessings. Bye for now.